Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Makerspace. And today we have Meet the Maker, and we're meeting a very cool person. But before I bring him in, let's say hi to a couple people that are here. We have Marco, Joe Kasper, Kelly's Mishmash, channel member and moderator AJ, channel member. What's going on, AJ? Douglas Wagner, hello. Sean F, channel member. What's going on, Sean? Donnie Bless is in the house. What's up, Donnie? I hope you're not too busy, but you're always busy. I understand. Trouble Bunny, what's up, channel member? Hello. Jim Miller, channel member and moderator. What's going on, Jim? I hope you're doing all right. Richard Hopkins, hello. All right, fantastic. Well, all right, guys, I want to introduce you guys to Tyler with Mad Yocco, with Double Wide EDC, making some amazing things over there and doing some really cool stuff. So we're just going to chat with Tyler this evening for a little while, back and forth. He said he had questions for me. I have questions for him. So we're just going to hang out and chat for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, and we'll just see where it goes. So what's going on, man? I hope you're having a good evening.
Going good so far.
Yeah. Stay mad. So Tyler cannot see the chat, so I'm going to try my best to try to highlight stuff. So Donnie Bless, hashtag stay mad.
Hey.
Broke AZ, channel member, what's going up? What's going on, man? I hope you're doing all right. No.
That's for Cole. Stay mad.
Stay mad. That's pretty cool. So he's got the sewing machine in front of him, so let's talk hanks. I know that's kind of what you're known for. First of all, is all of the hanks that you make. I have my Mad Yocco hank, which is cool with the old tag on it, but you were nice enough to reach out to me and we're like, hey, can I get your logo? Is it okay if I did that? You asked permission. I granted that, and you did it. That was awesome. Thank you. And surprised me with glow-in-the-dark thread, which was funny when I turned the lights off one day in the room, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, how? What? So, and then you sent me this one, which kind of means a lot to me with Autism Speaks on there. So thank you, sir, for that. So it's really nice quality hanks, which I always keep here and I keep ready. So that is awesome. Thank you very much for sending those along. I really appreciate it.
You're absolutely welcome. And I totally support everything that you're doing. I love your channel. I reached out and did that because I was just like, that's how I show my appreciation for things, I guess, as gifts. I'm a gift giver. But about those hanks, your channel hank is imperfect. It makes me wince every time I look at it. But everything's imperfect. And if it was perfect, there'd be nothing to do. So
it's the imperfections that make it perfect, Yes. It makes it handmade. It makes it it gives it that little handmade spin on it. And I could sit here and be like, well, that's crooked. But it's made by you. So I'm good with it. I like showing it off. You see it all the time. Donnie Bless says, quit slacking, get back to work, Betsy Ross.
I'm trying, brother.
He's trying. Brown Sugar, hello. It makes it art. Emily or Trouble Bunny is right. It makes it art. When imperfections make it perfect in every way. So that is very cool. But so you got the hanks. Why hanks? What got you into doing that?
Oh, this is a fun story, actually. So like I was making these knife review videos. I was trying to be Rochambeau and failing at it. So, you're always going to fail when you try to be somebody else.
Yep.
But I was like, man, I can't afford all these knives that I want. So, I've got to figure out some way. And it's a maker's, as we are in the maker space, it's a maker space. So I was like, what can I do? Because I was a drunk for 12 years and I didn't really accomplish much. And it was because every time I try, I wouldn't complete it. And these things were small enough that it was like something that I could grab a hold of as an accomplishment. And now I've made 300 of them or more.
That's awesome.
I've got 240 that I have record of.
That's cool.
And I've got 100 5-star reviews. Thank you all.
That's awesome. And that's on Etsy, of course.
Yeah. Etsy was an incremental role. It was very useful, but now I've got my own site. So
yeah, there you have double wide EDC, which is cool. We'll show that. We'll go there in a minute. So that's awesome. So the Hanks kind of gave you a purpose, something that you could, I don't know what's the wording I'm trying to come up with. It gave you a purpose and it made you feel like you were able to accomplish something.
That, and also like my great grandpa would always carry Hanks.
Okay.
It was just part of the greatest generation. They carried Hanks and knives.
They did. And, as tools.
Yeah. And I connected with him spiritually through that. And then also, I've got a little piece of fabric here to remind me. My great grandma sewed quilts. She was a housewife. She was poor her whole life. And she made these monumental quilts for all of us. And that's something that I want to be a part of.
That's awesome.
And I started out using my grandma's sewing machine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And it was probably an older machine and only she knew how to use it. That's awesome. Alex said, so the Etsy store shutting down? Well, I don't know. I'll let you answer that.
The Etsy store's on vacation until until I make my knives.
There he is. Moving on to bigger and brighter things. No, I'm joking.
It is implied pressure.
Yeah, Denise said she's proud of you. Hashtag sober life. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Yep, absolutely. I mean, it is good. And it's crazy how we talk to a lot of people who've gone through struggles like that, who just needed something to grasp a hold of to give them purpose besides drowning themselves in whatever that addiction is. I've talked to a lot of people who have gotten into making something and they're really good at it because whatever that drive is that brought them to whatever that addiction is, they could put into whatever the making side of that is. So
it's a strong,
they just have to, yeah, whatever that is, they turn it into that. So that's awesome that you have the outlet to do that. So, and I'm glad that you shared that with us tonight. That's cool. Yep. Kelly's Mishmash says that is so awesome, Tyler. You're doing good. Keep taking it one day at a time. That was awesome.
Love you, Kelly.
Yeah, we all love Mom. She's awesome. You got some of her stuff. Yeah, Kelly is awesome. Yep, she has made so much stuff for so many people in our community that it's awesome. And I have my monkey fist sitting right over here. So I was taught that a man, especially a gentleman, carries a handkerchief and a pocket knife. There you go, Jim. Absolutely. Right. That was the way that it is. That was the way that that's the way that it was. It might not be that anymore. This day and age, most people don't know how to work and make things with their hands. Well, I agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. That is for sure. War Room EDC, what's going on, Chris? I hope you're having a good day.
I'm working on your Hank for Chris.
You working on a Hank for Chris? Awesome. Yeah, Chris is a good dude. I just talked to him. He's a local guy. Me and him hang out. He's cool. He's got to dry his eyes from the earlier main live stream. Everybody was in tears watching Jimmy Crow open that stuff. That was awesome. But so that it was the Hanks the first thing that you really got into making?
Yeah, definitely. I was trying to like I was honing my skills on video editing and stuff, and like that's all well and good, and that'll help me in the future and stuff. But yeah, as far as like something tangible, it was the Hanks.
Very cool. Tim B, moderator. What's up, Tim B? Hope you're doing all right. Tim B's my good buddy. Going back to work. It's gonna be. And then what was next? So you're just kind of, but you've just been fiddling with a lot of different things like mods, and now you have your cool Mad Yocco wax. That is pretty awesome. I've been using it on some of my stuff. I know that you're trying to refine the recipe on that one.
Yeah, there's a new balance that'll come with the new tins.
Okay.
So get
Very
the
cool.
Lego while they're available because they're a super good deal.
Yeah, $16 for that size of a tin is a really great deal.
The new
right?
tins, yeah, the new tins will be half of that size, and they will be, I think, $6 plus shipping.
That's actually great because I mean I have the small tin of the Wicked Wax and it's lasted me quite some time, and
Yeah.
so a tin of this size is gonna last you guys forever. It comes with a cool little Kelly's Mishmash, I guess, lanyard. Then that's just to help to break up the wax so that you can use it on the material or the blade or whatever you want to use it on. But I've been using this. This one is an extra one that I'm going to be giving away one day. But I've been using it. I've been using it in the shop. I've been using it. What started that? Where did that come from?
That was because I was watching Stevie, and they were talking about using his beard balm to make or to use as blade wax, and he was like, I've been thinking about making a blade wax. So I hit him up, and I was like, because at this point I was like, okay. So I figured out the recipe, and I was like, had it all planned out. I had an Amazon cart full of stuff that I needed to make it, and then I was like, now I've got to ask Stevie if it's okay. And he was like, yeah, dude. So I was like, all right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's funny how these things kind of inspire you to do something, and then you start to do it. Broke AZ, that's why I got into art. I needed something to do while I was bedridden after I got out of the hospital, something to keep me sane while detoxing. Eventually turned into knife design. And yeah, and your knife is awesome, man. I need to get a hold of one of those. That thing, it looks awesome. Mick Ranger, hello. Bluminati Ninja, what is going on? Moderator and channel member. What is up? Baptism, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. So cool. So you have the Hanks and you have the, I guess, the wax. And then
Excellent.
I guess, were you, for a while there, you were starting to do Kydex sheaths. Are you not doing those anymore?
I am doing Kydex sheets. I just ordered some so that I could make one for Troy, for Tree Stab and Troy.
Okay.
It's just a lot of work with very little reward. It just kind of interrupts my flow. That's all.
I hear you. That's why I didn't want to get into. That's why I didn't want to get into making sheaths for everybody and their production fixed blades.
Right.
Because I knew that
you get in place.
It's a lot of work just to do that. And
yeah.
I don't like making sheaths for my knives. I don't want to make them for everybody else's knives.
It's not artistic.
Well, it's the least. It's the most criticized piece on a fixed blade.
Yeah.
And it's just the least rewarding. That's why I kind of try to have some fun with like colors and doing different things. But, you know, it's just, I don't know. There's an art to it, but it's like, they're not easy to do and to get it dialed in perfectly. And it's just, a pain. Ed Durbin, what's going on? Welcome in. Yeah. So what?
Check this out. I found
Okay.
just some loose wood in my shed, and this was 3 years ago when I was still drinking. And before I even knew what a Benchmade or anything was, I used a gas station knife to carve this.
Well, that's cool. It was a knife, just like a large kind of.
And you can tell I got this bend in it, and that's because that's how the wood was.
Yeah. So you just followed the wood
itself away.
It kind of gives it a unique kind of a look to.
kind of quirky.
Yeah, it is kind of quirky. That's awesome. And you have your own channel, right? So you guys need to go. I don't know if any of my mods have that link for Mad Yocco's YouTube channel, but you guys should go check out him. He is doing stuff on that channel. He goes live Mondays at 7:30. Sometimes, not always, I guess. He tries his best to do it, unless there's other things that pull him away. But you guys should check him out. Thanks, Kelly's Mishmash. There you go. Boom. There it is.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly, for doing that. Good boning knife for big animals. Yeah, that thing would do it.
It was totally uninformed.
That's so fun. But that's kind of how it starts, you know. That's how it started for me. Is I drew something that kind of spoke to me. I put it into wood. I walked around the house with it, and here we are. And it's just turned into an addiction for me. And for me, and I don't know, this is for you, maybe for you more so than for me. When you finished a product, when you finish something, whether it's a hank, your wax, it's something like that. What is it's hard to describe that feeling, but what is that feeling for you? Obviously, you got into it based on our conversation so far that you were looking for an outlet, something else. So when you finish a hank, your first handkerchief, what was that like? What was that feeling?
At first it was pride, and then it boiled down to when I get what I need to get done, it gives me permission to not continue to overthink. It gives me permission to rest.
Okay. I like that. Gives you permission to rest. Like,
because
okay.
And if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I can't rest.
Yeah. But if you're in the middle of that project, you can't stop that project.
Right.
Right?
So when it ends, Hanks will get done.
Yeah. Because you said it's about 15 minutes per hank. So you can't like stop in the middle and take a break. You have to finish it, right? I would assume. I don't know anything about the process of making a hank, but I would assume once you start it, you can't really stop.
For me, it's a finish a stack type of deal. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll deal with myself. I'll be like, finish 4 of them, and then you can be done. And yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, some like most people work 8 hours a day, but like for me, I work 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it's always something.
And like this stuff is actually rewarding, and the other stuff isn't. So it's like,
well, it is in its own way, but this is
part of it to offset some of the other things.
There you go. That's your release. It's your getaway from some of the other things you have going on. Using a knife to carve another knife. That is the epitome of this knife community's obsessions. Yes, absolutely. Working wood templates is a great way to start learning to grind. Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right, Donnie. I will not make dirty jokes in class. Thanks, Robo. Thanks for keeping it clean, my friend. You know, keep it clean. The feeling of accomplishment. Yeah. So feeling of accomplishment. So if you have a stack and you have a goal, it sounds like you're like, okay, I'm going to get these 5 hanks done today or the next 2-3 hours. I'm going to get this done. And then you finish it. What does that feel like to you?
It's just a release. It's just like now I can handle my other tasks without. Cause look, my name is Mad Yocco for a reason. I have trouble regulating my emotions, especially because I didn't for so long. So when I get that accomplishment, it gives me that release so that I'm not overreacting to things that are little.
That's awesome. So it's like therapy, right? It's
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 therapy.
your getaway. Yeah,
100%.
that absolutely. That's
Sometimes
kind
I
of the
feel like I can do it though, because like the outside pressure is too much. Like it turns me into a lockdown.
yeah, and that's great. So you can kind of get away, focus on one thing, accomplish that goal, and then okay, my head is clear that I can face some of the ridiculousness of life again. Right?
Absurdity of life, because
Yeah.
some you don't want to laugh at it. Sometimes you have to look at something that's meant to make you laugh.
Yes.
This is made by P&W Funworks. It's the duality spatula.
Spatula. And he purposely calls it a spatula because
No, I think
that
I
would
did.
be his sense of humor for sure. A spatula. That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, he does some fun stuff. I had one of his pens here for a little while. Somebody had donated to the channel for me to do a giveaway. I ended up giving it away, but
He reminds me without saying a word to not take things so seriously.
there you go. You just keep it close to you, and then every time you look at it, you're like, okay, I'm good. Dissipation of nervous energy and anxiety is good for you. Yep, that's good, baptism. I like that. What's the story with the chicken?
I was still drinking then too, and it was the same thing. It was like Easter came, and I was like, you know what? I want to be a kid. I want to be a kid again. And I had this chicken that I found at the Habitat for Humanity Restore. It's a thrift store. It has a lot of building supplies and stuff. They have other.
We have one here.
I love those chickens. My grandparents and great grandparents have always collected those, and I got my own one, and it was light blue. It was like very subdued, probably 50s stylings, little white polka dots on it, and I was like, I'm gonna paint it fucking neon because that's me.
Because you're Mad Yocco.
So I did it as painting eggs on Easter.
So that's just the story of the chicken?
That's the story of the chicken.
There you go. There you go, Alex. I hope that answered your question. Ask Mr. Milo. I know you and Donnie go live, everyone. Chicken is foul. Yep, Robo's got jokes today.
I relate with Donnie very deeply. He and I are kindred souls.
Yeah, Donnie's cool dude. Donnie is a cool dude. I had him on here a couple times, but me and him get down rabbit holes, man. It's part of it. So, EDC or the website. What is the website? Double Wide EDC. Is it okay if we jump on there and we check it out?
Sure. There's the cue.
Let's see
if I can even hold it up.
All right, let's get rid of the pop-ups coming up. So there's Double Wide EDC. We got all kinds of still cool stuff on there. Where should I go? Where would you like for me to check out? Ooh, that's the Redeemer you were talking to me about, right?
Yep, that's the Redeemer right next to Terry's. Terry is also he's the other half of the Double Wide. That's his concept Orlock right next to it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been checking that thing out, and I think that design is amazing. So that'd be cool to do that.
I cannot wait to get that oarlock in my hand.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And this is your up-and-coming design that's going to be done by North Mountain Blades.
Right.
Called the Redeemer.
I've got a 3D print of it.
Do you have any timelines on that yet, or no?
No, they haven't given me any information.
Yeah, you got to be patient with that kind of stuff. It'll, you got to let them do their thing because that kind of all comes. And then let's see, we have the Vigilante, which we're going to talk about and we're going to show. We don't need to talk about that now. We got Terry's story, which I should probably get Terry on here now too.
Yeah, reach out to him. I'm not sure he likes being on camera that much, but
yeah, I might have to bother him with it. So we got the shirts. He's got the shirt on right now. So you got the Stay Mad shirts, and we got all the Hanks. So the Hanks are done very well, guys. Nice fabric, and we're going to talk a little bit about the fabric here in a second because I was hitting them up on some of this stuff. So we have, you notice on these Hanks, guys, that it says vintage. So he's using some vintage fabrics for some of the Hanks that he is doing. So it's not just like I'm going to go to the big box store and buy some fabric. He's using some stuff that is like some vintage materials, which is pretty stinking cool. And there is the Mad Wax. So that is the size. $16 is the size that we have now. So very cool. I hope you guys check that out. Double Wide EDC got some really cool stuff. So I know I asked you this kind of before we jumped on. Kelly, thanks for dropping that link. Always on the ball. No, I'm not a cool dude, Donnie. You're a cool dude. I'm trying to get caught up with the chat. Oh, it's Robo. I can skip over. Robo says, Scott N. What's up, Scott N? I missed you in the chat. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for all that you do with the schedule, knife tube schedule, and all that, man. You're killing it out there. So fabric. I asked you before we came on what the heck you do with fabric, because for me, not knowing anything about anything, the only place locally I can Robo, I love you. I'm just joking with you. The only place that I knew that I could actually go and buy fabric that would make sense for doing Hanks was like Joann's. And my local Joann's closed. I think they all closed. So that made me wonder what people are doing for getting material. So you explain to me, but I want you to explain to everybody where you're getting your material from and kind of how that works.
So like Joann's immediately was kind of like blacklisted by me because I just feel like anybody can get a hold of those fabrics. And that's actually not the case now. Like now it would make sense for me to go to a going out of business store to get those fabrics because they'll be gone.
Yes.
But my intention is to make things with a little bit better materials, pricier materials, because they're rarer materials, because I want that added value to these Hanks. So I go on Etsy and I find Etsy stores that resell vintage fabrics, like by the yard. And I found various vendors. One of them is in Poland, who I order from, and she gets vintage fabrics that didn't even exist in the United States.
That's awesome.
Laid Off Pete, he is in England right now on vacation, and he's bringing me some fabric back from England.
That's awesome.
We're going to do a series called Laid Off Runoff or Laid Off One Off.
That's awesome.
You got to make the fabric somehow unique. Then the other vendor that I always go to, she's in Ohio, which is where I am. So it's local. And she goes to Amish country and buys bunches of vintage fabric from them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they've been holding on to this stuff and taking care of it and preserving it for, 100 years maybe sometimes.
That's, yeah. And it's all stuff that
Dry
they have made.
I ran into it a
So
couple of times, but
that is cool. Yeah, Jim, is that what it was? Joanne's closing shut down Junkin' Genius. I was hoping that wasn't the case, but yeah. But what do you got?
Got these fabrics, and these I think Titanium Justin got from Joanne's, and then he painted.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's kind of an
unique.
extra little touch.
We got the medium sizes left, and they're the cheapest tanks I have available. We're just we're trying to give you an opportunity before I take them off, because
there you go. Adventure 50, what's going on, channel member? What's going on, Adventure 50?
And then Justin, and by doing that, inspired me to make my own kind of special fabric.
Yeah.
Black flannel that's been bleached and dyed with glow-in-the-dark paint.
Oh, so that's all going to glow.
Yeah.
What?
I think it's UV reactive, but yeah.
So under a black light, or
it looks crazy.
Possibly glowing? That would be awesome. That's awesome, because it's all about doing something cool with your fabrics or something special, right? You got to stand out. Because I know, like, Junkin' Genius was nice enough to send me some of their hanks, and they're pretty awesome too. They sent me this one. It has all the zodiac signs on it, so that was cool. But then, so now I have you guys. But then she's not doing it anymore. I guess she just stopped doing it, so that kind of stinks. 70s tie-dye updated. Yep, that's kind of what is kind of similar to tie-dye. It's cool. I like, so you're taking unique fabrics and then you're customizing it yourself, or getting it customized, or getting really vintage stuff. See, that's cool, because then it has a story. It has a story. It's not just it looks cool because it's a fun material.
Our feed sack hanks.
Back
in the day, feed companies would sell feed to farmers to feed their animals. And once a year, around Christmas time or Easter, they would print these special bags out of nice fabric, so that once they use the bag, they can use it to make clothes for the family. So I reused those.
You just blew my mind. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll also buy, I'll go to Goodwill and I'll buy 5 Hawaiian shirts just to cut up and make hanks out of. I like upcycling a lot.
That's cool.
There's no point in that store having all of that fabric and me not using it.
Well, yeah, because who knows who's going to get it from that store.
Right.
And what they're going to do with it. They're not going to do anything with it.
Dump.
Feed sack. I cannot wait to do another collab. Yeah, Titanium, Justin, welcome, man. That's cool.
Do another one here probably in August.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So he just kind of paints on some material, and you end up making hanks out of it. That's awesome. You should hit up surplus stores for vintage fatigues. That's interesting. I don't know if he can get it. Like army fatigues, that would be, it could be interesting.
I'm not a veteran or anything, so I do kind of walk a little bit of a sketchy line with that kind of stuff.
There you go. Hey, to each his own. I also need a killdozer.
Oh yeah, I forgot the killdozer, Hank, man. I've got it printed out. I just haven't made it. That's funny.
Donnie says he loves his feed sack, Hank. There you go.
Yeah.
Flour sacks came in patterns. I unloaded truckloads of it. It's very good cloth. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Heavy duty.
Yeah.
Donnie says it's supple.
Killdozer is a national treasure. Now I want to see it.
I was Justin a killdozer, Hank, for like 6 months, and he never ragged on me about it. So I appreciate
it. The old Hawaiian shirts. Yeah, I've seen some of the old Hawaiian shirt stuff. See, this is all this that takes that to the next level to where it's like it's it has a story. That's cool for me is because I have this Hank. It's not just a Hank. It's a Hank, but it comes from this or it's this and it's that. And to be able to have a story behind it makes it that much better. So that's cool that you have that extra little story behind the stuff that you're doing. I think that's cool.
I want everything.
I think that's an awesome thing. So what else is on Mad Yocco's list of all the wondrous things that you're doing? Besides the knife stuff, because I know you want to show off the knife when we'll talk about it, because I know that's coming. But you did make a knife, but is the knife kind of the next big project, or you have other things going on?
Well, I'm just trying to get caught up on Hanks right now, but then yes, I made a promise to myself that I'd get this knife done by September. So, obviously that's not a huge hurry, but it's just because like I'm just trying to get everything sorted out so that I can have that time set aside for it. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to start by making fixed blades. I've got friction folders in my mind and kitchen knives.
Okay.
I've got a whole book of drawings. I've shared some of them.
Yeah.
And ones I haven't. Ultimately, like I'm almost thinking like it's like, okay, this is great. Like the Hank ideas just come to me. So like I can just ride with it because I'm like pretty confident in that I'll always be able to figure out something cool to do. Same with knives. But the end goal here is I want to be that crazy blacksmith dude that you see at the Ren Fair that's selling all of his wares.
That's awesome. So you'll have knives, you'll have Hanks, you'll have all the stuff, all the fun stuff at the booth to do that.
Yeah.
You should check out the fabric stores in Fashion District in New York City. Yeah, I don't think New York City is Mad Yocco's. I don't think that's Tyler's scene.
It would probably scare me too much to go.
Yeah, I don't think that's his scene, but yeah, I'm sure some of the vintage fabric stuff there is probably pretty cool. They probably have online stuff because God knows everything's online nowadays. So I've lost acres of real tree Hanks in the woods, ocean blue Hanks too. Yocco will hit New York City about the same time I do. Never. Donnie said that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's his scene. Sticking out like a sore thumb is
wide open spaces.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm used to the old school red, blue bandanas, black, just the regular bandanas. So yeah, that's cool. So let's talk knives. I know you have been fiddling with the making of the knives, which is cool. Be careful now that you're diving into it, then you're going to get a hold of it. It's going to get a hold of you, and you're never going to look back because it becomes an addiction. I know for me, that's what it was. It was as soon as I finished my first one, I was like, I did it. And now I want to be better because it's horrible and I want to try again. But it is a progression of, and with everyone you make, you learn a little bit more. So it's cool. So what is it? The Vigilante?
Yeah, the Vigilante is the design that I'm starting with. This is the original picture of it that I drew.
Yeah. So we've seen that, That thing is. What's your okay? So before we get into that's the drawing. What's your vision for that? What do you think it'd be used for? Is it EDC? Is it kitchen? Is it all of the above?
Yeah, it is EDC with a kitchen flare, yes, because it is below the knuckles. It makes it, you can use it on a board, and I always am using a cutting board if I'm cutting anything usually, so. The Vision FG inspired that.
The Vision FG. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting design. And I know you have the wooden blank that you showed,
Right.
and you can show that. Is that basically the size that it's going to be?
Yes, this is the exact size it'll be.
Okay. As makers, do you both ever reward yourself for attaining a goal or threshold?
Too much. I'm an addict.
Yeah. I reward myself for attaining a goal or a threshold. I don't know. That's a tough one, Scott. Usually, if I finish my projects, then I'll move on straight to the next one. So I reward myself with doing something fun or doing the next project. So, before Tyler and I started talking, I've been in my book again, which is never a good thing. I need to stay out of this book because I'm already drawing a new design that hit me, and I have enough. I need to stop. But
no. Stay mad.
Titanium wants to stump it. He wants to stump it. Projectiles are sharp. What's going on? So the Vigilante is, how far have you gotten with that project? Is it just the wooden blank as of right now?
I've got a piece of 1095 with it drawn out on it.
Okay.
But I sent that design to Shane, and I had him make 2 of them. And like knife making goes, it didn't exactly turn out the same as I wanted it.
Okay.
We had.
No, you wait. Hold on.
Oh.
Sorry. There you go.
Originally, we had this large thumb slot, which Shane showed. He told me that is a real pain in the ass. So we moved on.
That's not an easy shape to cut out.
We moved on to a hole. And after the fact, we realized that while the hole didn't have any purpose to begin with, it is actually good for Kydex retention.
Yes, I can see that. Yep.
We've got this version. This is the first Edgy Vigilante.
Okay.
And then the second Edgy Vigilante is on its way to me from Terry. And it looks a lot more like this, but not quite.
Okay.
Still got the plunge line is still kind of down here on the blade, whereas my plunge will be integrated into the choil.
Okay.
But I mean, that's not a huge deal. But that says something about knife making in general, because you can send a drawing to somebody and they're always going to misinterpret it because we all think differently.
Well, they're just going to see it. You can send a drawing, but then once you start playing with it in steel and everything else, it could be something completely different. Yep.
And I'm going to learn that too once I start to do it myself.
Yeah.
So, like my first one won't be correct either.
Yeah.
And that just shows you, it's like, like you can work towards perfection, but you'll never get there.
No. I mean, I'll make 6 of the same knife, and each one will be a little bit different in its own way. That's just the way that it's going to be. But yeah, I think it's a really good looking shape. It'll be very interesting trying to get Kydex on that. Just my brain starts to go, okay, well, how do you sliding it in and out, and where's the retention points all going to be? The hole helps, but then you have a drag place for the Kydex to drag on.
Makes it
yeah, so it's like
the thumb ramp is going to have to be narrow.
Yeah. And I've seen people use like little thin G10 spacers when they're doing the Kydex that leaves the space in the Kydex for it to slide in and out better.
Do you know the erasers that they're like putty and they just take off like most of the lead but leave a little outline?
Yeah.
I'm using those to fill in those gaps that I don't want.
Okay, that's cool. I've seen people do all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, I've seen people cut like little scraps of G10 to shape whatever. I think Gentry Designs does that a lot with his stuff when he's doing like big harpoons and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's like handles. Yeah, Scott, and handles are important. They have to feel comfortable in your hand for that. So that's really, really cool. And so you're going to be doing it in 1095, which is not a bad steel. It's a tried and true carbon steel that, you know, people have been making knives out of that since forever. So I've done a couple knives out of 1095. I have no issues with it. And you could probably do all the heat treat and everything yourself. So that is pretty cool.
People telling me that I should use mild steel to practice.
Yeah. I mean, so I know that that's what somebody told me. You can go to any of the big box stores and they have weldable steel, and it's just a bar of weldable steel, and it's just so you get practice grinding the bevels out yourself and doing that. Yeah, don't be like me. My first knife I did was out of 440C, 3/16 thick bar.
That's a thick one.
of 440C. It was my first knife. And I'm looking back on it, I was like, what was I thinking? But I wanted it stainless, so I was dead set on doing it in stainless. So I think that's pretty cool. And so you have it in wood. And what I was going to say was it's interesting because when you send your design to another maker to make, they're going to, like you said, they're going to interpret it and end up being whatever they have in their head for that. I know that's why people will send me designs or ask me if I can do designs. And 90% of the time I'm like, it looks cool, but I just, that's a lot of pressure on me to get right for whoever that designer is or the person who designed it. If I have a collaboration with them and then we can agree on some things, then I could do it. But
I mean, she agree with this statement. What I sent him was an outline. It was just a black outline. He didn't get enough information to actually see my vision.
Oh yeah, and I'm not trying to down him at all for that. I mean, if that's all the information he had, and because I know, like Cheeto, he sent me a design, but he had it like fully fleshed out and fully sent it to me with like graph paper and everything. So it was like, when I printed it, it basically printed at the exact size that he wanted. So then the Torcido, I basically took that, and it is what it is. Is that became, I'm trying to find it. That became the Torcido, and it just ended up working out perfectly the same size of what he was looking for in that design, like this thing. That like shilling cutter blade shape, but the handle, I should do it on this hand.
Excellent.
That handle comes down, your thumb gets right there, and you have that nice small little almost shilling cutter little blade shape on that, but you got the full 4 fingers. If you need to cut, you can cut. So yeah, but basically that was the exact size that he sent. So he's the only one. I've made 2 of these. He's the only one who has them. Him and his wife both have one.
I might have to have one of those too.
Yeah. The Shillin' Poon. Yeah. Yeah. That's a Cheeto Bandito design right there. So
I gotta get.
So and I try not to get involved with that because it's just difficult. Because people have very strong feelings about their design.
Yeah.
And then it's like they want you to bring it to life, and that's very difficult to do. That's why I'll just stick with my designs for most of the time. But so what's the time? You said September on that.
Yeah. I have
What?
to give myself a timeline, but I don't want to punish myself.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to give yourself anxiety trying to get it all done. You just want to be able to go out there and work slowly on it. What just for record, what kind of tools are we working with?
I've got a 4x32 or a 4x36 belt grinder.
Okay.
It's a buck tool. It's 1 horsepower. So it's stronger than something that you would get at Harbor Freight. And I've got belts from Combat Abrasives for that. I had to modify that grinder because it doesn't allow you to do the plunge very well, or it doesn't. What is that? It doesn't allow you to get a clean ricasso. So I had to take a piece of welding glasses shield, and I had to break off a 1/2 inch of it and then sand it down and use this as my platen so that I could get that 1/8 inch of depth.
Yep.
And then I've got a drill press that is, I mean, it's what you need.
Yep.
It's underpowered. It's not old. And I've got a Dremel, and I've got an angle grinder, a cordless angle grinder from Rigid with a lifetime warranty because I'm going to burn it out probably.
Well, depending on the what did you get, 1/8 inch stock for the thickness on that 1095?
Yeah.
Yeah. That won't be too bad. It's gonna take a while, but it won't be too bad to do that. People do it, but that's how guys have. That's how they cut it out. So that's cool.
It does it.
It'll get the work. It'll get the job done. Cheeto Bandito, there he is. Edward Cheeto Hands. What's up?
There's a lot of people in this community that directly inspire me in this path. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, well, thank you. And I have to thank you because you pulled my head out of my butt with some of the comments that we had recently. And you made me realize one of the reasons I did start this channel with the making was to try to inspire people to go out and make something. Because like I said earlier, for me, when I finish something, like when I start something new and I finish it and it's a finished product and I can hold it in my hand and have a usable tool, then that's very rewarding for me. And for me, I want other people to experience what I feel. And the only way to do it, you got to get your hands dirty and you got to do something, whether it's, and I don't care what, it doesn't have to be knife making. It could be making hanks. It could be making quilts. It could be crocheting. It could be making art. It could be any of those things. But at the end of the day, if you accomplish a task and you have something that you can physically touch, hold, feel, look at, and in our case of making knives use, then that makes everything so worth it to me, to just have that sense of feeling of accomplishment. And just, yeah, it's just, there's nothing better than that. And then when you start to refine your work and grow, then that makes it even better. So thank you for that.
Well, sure. A lot of people struggle with, like, for me, I struggle with self-worth. And I think that little things like that, they add up and they give you a reason to look at yourself in a better light and not rely on everybody's validation. And I think that is a very powerful tool that we all need.
Absolutely. I struggle with the self-worth thing myself, and that's why when I get to be able to finish a product and put it out, and then people like it, then that just drives me to the next thing. So
Yeah,
it is just an awesome thing to be able to do, and that's why I want to do that. So I want to be able to pass that along. I want other people to experience that. People who might be struggling with self-worth to find their self-worth again. What's going on, spine lock variants at our end of season swing team banquet? Can't chat. All right, what's up, Blaze? Hope you're doing well. I don't think Aries realizes how much of an impact he has on people who are new at being makers. Well, thank you, Trouble Bunny. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can share that, but Trouble Bunny made some. Her and her boyfriend made some really cool stuff lately. They made some beads, I guess, inspired by what I do, and they started making these handmade lanyard beads. It was so she ended up getting the Yocco that I just finished. The Yocco, the one with the green jade inlay in it, and she had asked if I could send her some leftover handle materials because she wanted to make a bead. Well, she did. She made 2 beads out of it, and they turned out amazing. She did a really good job. So
I have heard how difficult those are to make. So that is awesome.
Yeah.
They like to break.
This is why every time I'm like, do I have to make the beads? Because it is a little labor intensive to make to make the beads. But I just for some of the ones I have right now, that's the pearl white kieranite with the red.
Oh, nice.
This is blue, but it's never going to show up on camera right now. But
what do you sell?
Got some blue in there.
Not a bead seller or a bead maker, but generally those are like $25-$30 a piece.
Yeah, and I just throw them on the knife because it's the same handle material that is on the knife. So
this one was made by Knife Addict Dylan, and it's the same kind of like it's purple and brass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My lighting sucks.
That's okay. Yeah, it was just something that I started to do. I thought it would be fun if I had some leftover materials that I'll add a lanyard onto the knife or add a bead, and I've just kind of taught myself how to do it. I think with any making, it's all about, okay, here's a problem. I need to try to solve this problem. How am I going to solve this problem? And then you just figure out a way to make whatever you want to make. And the beads are fun, and some people are doing some really crazy beads. So mine are very, very basic. My beads I already know my beads are very basic, but it's fun to be able to do that, to add that into the thing.
It's nice that community though, because everybody's kind of doing their own different specialties, and we can kind of each maker can kind of put together a pack of completely community made things. And it's like you can get a bead from this person, you can get a lanyard from this person, you can get, you know, like the handles made by this person, you can get the heat treat by that person. Like we can come together and get things done, and that's really awesome.
Oh yeah, that, and then it goes beyond that. Like once you start getting into the knife making community, and you start to meet other makers, they're always willing. Like, I don't know, you start to get to talking to other makers in your area, and then they're willing to help you out too. You go over their shop, watch them do it. Like my buddy Corey and I am already trying to figure out a day I can go over there and we can heat treat some blades and work on some blades together here in the next future. But I will tell you guys right now, you guys met Corey Holly and we did that cool collaboration together. but he is in the middle of trying to create his own knife company, basically, where he's just going to be pumping out all kinds of really cool stuff. So there's good things coming from him. I can tell you guys that. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with him. He has been working his butt off.
I was thinking about the other day that Donnie was a tattoo artist before he started making knives. And like, it always bothers me to think like, oh, this person's going to steal my design, or this person. And then I look at the NAFS situation with the minnow, and that night, Creeley probably sold out of minnows because of that controversy. So it's like, okay, you're not like, say somebody steals your original tattoo design and they do it somewhere across the country. You're not going to fly out to do that tattoo. You're going to let that other tattoo artist do it. So like, is it actually taking money out of your pocket when somebody else makes your design? Because generally when people buy your knife from you, they're doing it because they know they want to support you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
And I don't know. I don't want to get into a big rabbit hole with people stealing other people's designs and everything else. I know in the tattoo world, a lot of people just sell their art, and then anybody can may start doing those tattoos for other people, and it becomes okay, cool. That's his design, so and so design. I don't know all the famous tattoo people. I'm sure Donnie knows all of them, but
yeah.
Anyway, I got a really cool bead from a guy in Ukraine on Etsy. Sells, felt good to support. Yeah, that's cool. Baptism. Jason Grant is a tattoo artist. KC, what's going on? Looks like you had a great trip. Trevor is broke down and I'm running to buy him a battery. Oh boy, that's kind of sucks. That sucks. Kind of like a catalog knife. Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah,
sort of.
I don't know. It's really hard to come up with a design that nobody else has done before at this point.
Yeah.
You might be able to change little bits and pieces here and there, but to come up with a truly original, never seen before design, it's going to have to be really far out there at this point in time. But I don't know. Indeed. I have 1,000 beads here. Take your pick. Ed Durbin's got all kinds of beads. Yeah, I don't know. The bead thing just kind of something I started to do. How do you tell her? Howdy, Tyler. Oh, Casey.
Hey, buddy. I'll tell you what, Durbin, you can send me some of those beads. If you send them to me for free, I'll start to dreadlock my mullet, and I'll put them in my mullet.
There you go. There you go, Ed. The challenge is on. The challenge is on. You heard it here. He's gonna dread up the mullet and just put beads on the mullet. I just do the best to come up with my own idea, not to based on someone else's knife, but the idea is keeping it 100% different. Yeah, absolutely, KC. I mean, but listen, KC, your designs are great. They're great. I love the downdraft. I don't have anything out here. The downdraft is amazing. The microjet is awesome. Micro burst. You definitely have your design language. But to say I've come up with a very 100% unique design that nobody else has done before, I mean, how many people have done that design? It's just done in just a very, very unique way, in a different way. But that drop point kind of, this could be from a distance, this could be a Kaiser, this could be many, you name it, but this is a Berg. So it's like I don't know. But then you have something that's
At the
like
end,
this
they
that could
fold.
be a little bit more unique. So I don't know.
They fold and they cut.
Yeah, exactly. Does it work? I love that your beads act as a stop on the lanyards. Yeah, that was another thing. I never really intended that, but it kind of worked out that way, that the beads end up right where my pinky is. I space them out to where it's like a stop. But
Do you mind if I take a short break? I've got to check on my grandma.
yeah, go for it. I'm going to catch up with the chat.
All right.
I'll catch up with the chat. Let's see. It doesn't count if I'm not tying the knots. So, Ed, you got to come over and tie every knot after every bead. I give Ed a hard time, but his work is outstanding. Oh, so wait, Ed, I am sorry. I misunderstood. You're actually making the beads. That's freaking awesome. Well, baptism, I'm just using it as an example because it was sitting here. That blade shape could be used instead of that. Could be a Kaiser Militar. You know, they how many knife companies are doing a very similar shape? But Berg blades had the, what did I have? I just had that other small one in that had that really cleaver blade shape, and that thing could be a little bit different. But this is an awesome, I'm not saying that anything bad about this. This is really stinking good. The Mini Sweeney, really, really good. But I'm just trying to, is it unique and nobody's ever seen it before? No, but it's that, I'm not saying it's bad. Oh, you don't make the beads? Okay. Oh, that's right. You're the Edyards guy. You're the Edyards guy. Sorry. The Mini Slim. Yeah, the Mini Slim had that really cool blade shape. But Berg Blades does an amazing job. I'm not downing them at all. Byron, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Mad Yocco will be joining us back. He just needed to go check on something real quick. Byron, Byron, yeah. When he comes back, he's got something cool to show you. No grade, just basic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, it's basic in the very best possible way. It's basic in the very best possible way. That's what I mean. And I can actually front flip this, which is cool. It's very good. But I also have that here. This thing, this beast, CJRB. Oh God, I always forget the name of this thing. Yesaya? The Sasaya. Really cool. I got to do the review on this button lock option from CJRB. You guys, if you follow the channel, you know my Nightshade is probably one of my favorite knives in the collection. So when I saw that CJRB did the Sasaya, I wanted to definitely check it out. So I'm going to be doing the review on this one, and we could see kind of similarities and differences. So they're similar, but they're different, and they're both unique in their own way. So, but to say it's a copy, that's not fair. It's not really a copy. Yeah. Full size Sweeney is in my top 5. Yeah, I can see that, Jim. You guys, you know, I'm like the smaller stuff. So I kind of like this one. That thing it's good, man. I got to tell you, Magna Cut with the black-washed titanium, black-washed blade, the black-washed blade, just frame lock, titanium clip, which is interesting. It has that nice long bill on it. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a good option, that's for sure. Yeah, an XL Schillen cutter. It's a big one. That's big for me, but for you guys, that might be perfect size. But I really want a Bob Lum shilling cutter. Yeah, N Valley. I think I know what you're talking about. They're pretty cool. Both of those are copied from a centuries old Indonesian farm knife. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, but what about like even that blade shape? That's an interesting blade shape. That's sheep's foot. They call it a sheep's foot. This is the CJRB. I can't. The Lyrid CJRB Lyrid G10. That nice. This is OD Green G10. I know the camera's not really picking it up, but that interesting blade shape, the sheep's foot blade shape is interesting. Bar lock. Sheep's foot with a belly. Yep. That's what they're calling it. I mean, it gives you enough tip to be able to use the tip, but enough belly. So it is interesting. It gets a little thicker at the tip, which I kind of enjoy. So you're not like doing too bad. Kathleen! Shilling cutter is just a blade shape. All knives use a blade shape is very clip point of every other clip point. Wait. All knives use a blade shape is every clip point of every other clip point. Yeah. It's just a modified clip point, right? We'll just go with Sharif where it's a blade. It's a clip point. I don't know. I don't know. Slicey butter knife. There you go. That is kind of it does have the butter knife vibe. That is for sure. It kind of does have a nice thick butter knife. Not a copy. Okay, yeah. No, a blade shape is one thing, but you got to look at the handles. You got to look at the style. Did they use thumb studs? Did they use something different? So every company will do a little bit of different with something that, makes it look a little bit different. So, yeah. Oh. Derivative. Yeah, it's a derivative of. Yeah. Everything was inspired by something else in history. That's for sure. And then we just move on. Unless it's a bloom and then that's just a one-off. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I kid. I found this the other day. I forgot I had this thing. Man, the Cold Steel Tough Light. So cool. Oh, wait. Sorry, Tyler.
Oh, you're good. What's up?
Sorry, we were just talking knives. We started talking like blade shapes and how, things have been always just not necessarily copied, but a derivative of or inspired by or doing something. Like even the Vigilante. What was the brainstorm behind that?
Well, it started out with that Madness design that I had submitted to concept well before I was making anything that should have been submitted. And it was just, I wanted an axis lock, gnarlier version of the Vision FG, and it evolved from there.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that thing with that long belly coming down and everything is going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that. That is cool. Yeah, I love my Tough Light. This thing is a beast.
I'm very close. I came very, very close to just giving up after that design got turned down, and it should have been turned down. It was pretty bad. But Satisfaction twice told me to stop being down on myself and not to give up, and then I can have my own knife in production, and here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And also, you know, between him and Cole, Broke As Knives,
I still want to hold one of those.
those two together, and then after seeing your knife get picked up by Kubi, it's like, this is something that I can accomplish.
Yeah. You just have to keep. You know how many companies turned me down for that design?
I know.
I shopped that around to all the major companies.
Yeah.
All of them. I'm not going to sit here and name them because that's just not what I'm about to do. And Kubi picked it up.
I've been submitted to Kaiser, and Kaiser asked me, well, who else have you worked with? And I just declined to answer.
Yeah. I mean, I submitted the design to a company, and they basically, it's a form letter response, but they're basically like, thank you for submitting. We're not interested at this time. And just so you know, because you've submitted this design, there's nothing stopping us from using it.
Yep.
So
that.
Yeah, that's you said it, not me, but that's that I know that's their form, and it's not protected or anything like that. One Moon, what's going on, One Moon? Paul Mills said he's proud of you. What's up, Paul? Channel member.
Paul, you're such a good friend.
Yeah, Paul's a good guy. But you can't give up. Somebody will do something, and things will start to happen. Like the Bloom, that project took almost that took a long time to get going, and now I have two more in the works with them, and I'm still kind of on hold to see when. I have no idea what the timeline on those are going to be, but it's going to be pretty cool. So, yeah. So basically, baptism. This is how it works. You submit a design to these companies. That design is not protected, so they can turn you down and say, no, sorry, we're not interested. And then they could turn around and make something similar or the same as, and there's really nothing you could do.
No.
There's nothing you can do about it. It's not good business practices, but it's just that one company who gave me that response. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I did shop that design around.
It unsaid.
What was that?
I imagine some of them have the same policy, but left it unsaid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because when I first saw the Kaiser Buddy, mm-hmm. I was like scratching my head. And then I got the Buddy here to check out. And I was like, okay, it's a little different. Uh-huh. It's different. So mine's better. No, I'm just kidding. But it's different. But
well, it's also undeniable. It's like, what are you going to do about it? I don't want to go pay a lawyer. I'm just like, and now all the anger is doing is affecting me. So
yeah, it's just like yeah. Unless you're going and publishing and copywriting your design and doing all of that, then. But not many people have the money and the funds to go do all of that before submitting it to try to get it. And you're at the mercy of the companies trying to do it.
Imagine if you asked KC when he goes and gets a design OEM'd or whatever, like part of that process is paying the several $1,000s to get it copyrighted just so that an American company doesn't steal it.
Yeah. I mean, there's part of that. I don't even know if that's something that he does too.
Maybe he doesn't.
But I think the community is smart enough to be like, hey, that's a full-on copy of the design at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, is that it's up to our audience to kind of have our backs when that kind of thing happens. Because we're just one guy, and
yep. They can steal your design off of pictures and models. Yeah. Yep. They can. All that see something and it inspires them and then put somebody else's name on it.
Yeah. Another American's name on it sometimes.
Yep.
And you're like, what is going on there?
It's very expensive. Yeah. Yeah. And
But
there's
they need to have an American name on whatever design, and like that designer might not even know anything about it, and they'll get an email with that design. They'll be like, "Can we publish this under your name?" And they're like, "Sure,"
yeah,
because
of
it's
course.
like my design style or whatever, and they're
Right enough.
another source of
Yeah.
income. So, and
Yeah.
they have no idea that they're complicit to something.
Yeah. It's hard. And if you want to OEM, now if you want to OEM, there's companies that are very happy to make the knife for you
Yeah, oh, yeah.
because you're fronting all the money to OEM that knife, which
I'm not
I
speaking out of class here at all. Like Brian Winters, all of those winter blades are made by Concept.
yeah, yeah. And Jack Wolf is made by somebody, you know, Tempest, we know, Concept and Kubi.
Finch is QS.
Um, Devo Knives is the same. Like all these companies, they're being OEM'd by these other companies. The Remet does a lot of OEM work with a bunch of companies. So these companies are very happy to OEM for you. You just have to front that money and then sell them. They'll put whatever you want. Kubi would have been very happy, and there was other companies that would have been very happy for me to do the Bloom as OEM, but they didn't want to. They passed on it to do a collaboration project, which Kubi was the only one. And as much as I would have loved to have had a U.S. company do it, that just wasn't going to happen. I didn't hear back from any U.S. companies, so
A lot of these U.S. companies have their own designers, and they, like they worked hard to get where they're at. They're not trying to have some scrub come in and give them their designs.
oh no, they're not just some guy off the street coming in.
Right.
They're good, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, Paramonster, Remet, they're still doing it, Jim. As far as I know, they're probably still doing stuff. I think Paramonster was doing it under a different name, and they're probably still doing it. I mean, all of the pickled steel stuff, most of the pickled steel stuff is coming out of that's mostly Remet, but he uses a couple other people too. But yeah, all the pickled steel knives, that's a Remet. That's a 100% a Remet design, just with the pickled steel logo on it. So
sure.
Yeah, I learned a lot talking to other people. It's been very, very interesting to do that. So, all right, what else do you have coming down the line that people should know about?
Just keep an eye out for the fixed blades. Once the Redeemer begins to get printed by North Mountain, I'll be taking those 10 knives. I'll be keeping probably 2 of them. So there will be 8 that I will modify. I'm going to change out the grip. I'm going to anodize the titanium in creative ways, acid wash the blade in creative ways, but they'll all be unique. So
yeah,
it'll be the Mad Mods series. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's just a way for me to express myself on my first design.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm going to show that off again. We're talking the North Mountain Redeemer. So that's the folder that North Mountain Blade Works is going to be making. And you said, how many are they making?
They're only going to make 600 of them.
Only. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And you're going to get some, and they are going to get some, right?
They're going to get 590. And that's okay. That's fine with me, because like if they sell all 600 of those, then that'll be a good thing for me too.
Yeah. That's really cool. Well, I think that's going to be awesome to have your own folder out. That's cool. I know I'm excited about mine possibly this year. We'll see. We're on hold on that. I don't want to talk anymore about it because I don't know anything about it. I'm supposed to get a prototype in the next month or two, I think, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to pressure Aldo into doing anything. So you had mentioned that you might have had some questions for me. So
Oh yeah.
I am an open book. I think I am very transparent with stuff. So, oh wait, you have written down.
I do.
That scares me. That scares me.
Did anyone mentor you or ignite your fire, kind of like you did for me?
What?
When I watch your videos, I see I can do that and I see how to do it. Did anybody do that for you when you came into this scene?
Yes. Simple Little Life. So I don't know if you've checked out his channel. The channel is called Simple Little Life, and he does a lot of different things, but he does knives, and his content, he was the one who basically showed me how to do kydex sheaths, where to cut, how to do a lot of the different things. So I got a lot of inspiration from him with angles and just a lot of different stuff. So he was one of the biggest ones because he has a lot of like how-to stuff, and the way he explains it is very easy to understand. And then I just did a bunch of other just kind of random searching. Jim Honey, and I'm saying his name wrong. He helped me out. He's been kind of a mentor to me. I've had him on the show, or I call this a show, but I've had him on. Corey and some of the other members of that club, I've been able to ring their ear and ask a ton of questions on how to do stuff, what's the best tools to use, how to do this, how to do that. But then it was just really just getting in there and just doing it, really, because you can watch it, you can see it, but then when you start to do it, it's very different, and you come up with your own way. Because just because I do something one way might not work for you. You might come up with your own way of doing it, but the outcome ends up still looking awesome. I think that's part of the making thing, is we all have our own little unique ways of doing things at the end of the day, and it's just cool.
And I borrowed your toggle switch idea for the hand sanding setup. But I think that is the case with a lot of this community, is that when people get into it and they start to look at these making videos, that all of the makers who do making videos are very open and inviting. And that's the pipeline. That's how we get more makers. And that's this whole community, is like we can all kind of improve in our own ways based on the fact that almost all of us make videos that are welcoming others to do the same thing.
Yeah. And that's important, but I don't ever want my content to be like the end all be all. This is how you do it. This is just how I do it. If you want to try doing it that way or be inspired by it, like if you want to get from a master, you can go watch Walter Sorrells do some stuff, who's an amazing knife maker, but not a lot of people have access to the tools that he does. So it just makes it.
But he talks like he's on television.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the radio voice, that is for sure. But he knows what he's talking about. But he's also seeing a lot of stuff, and you know, he can make some killer blades. By hand, he can do some really cool stuff.
Is he the owner of Pop's Knife Supply?
Not that I know of, no.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. You know who I love, who always posts a morning video? LT Wright.
LT Wright?
Yep.
I think I've heard of that. I need to.
He makes fixed blades with the little shed on them, or the little log cabin on them.
Okay. Yep. I know I've seen it.
And every morning he's got this deep conversation about how you need to temper yourself and how you need to handle things that life presents to you. And it's a very good way to wake up.
I'll have to write. I'm going to write that down to make sure I check that out. LT Wright. Excellent.
He's a very wise guy.
Cool. Got it. Got it. Jim Cox, what's going on, Jim? By the way, Byron popped in, Mr. Splitting Slices himself. So
Byron, your sale's sitting right here. I just haven't gotten to it
yet. He also has videos of showing how to make them with hand files. Which one, Jim? Walter? Yeah, Walter does. He's done everything. Like, that's what kind of inspired me, because they showed all the different methods to do it. Like, you could sit there and you want to make a knife out, and you can do everything with a hand file. It's just going to take you days to do it. So,
you want another question?
Yeah, hey man, hit me up. I'm just kind of following the chat too.
What's something that you used to care a lot about when you were making a knife that you don't really care that much about anymore?
Gosh. That I learned to not care about. Trying to be, well, I still care about a lot of that stuff. Like trying to be like dial everything in perfectly as far as like angles. I was always like, what's the angle of the bevel have to be? What do I have to do to make sure the angle of the bevel is perfect? And so now I do dial it in, but not like to the point where it's perfect, because I know once I get on the grinder, things are going to get a little bit different. I also learned that I can get thin at the edge and it's still okay. But I would make myself sick over, it's getting too close to the edge. I'm getting it too thin. I'm going to ruin it or whatever. And now I know where, because I make my mark and my my grind line in the middle of the bevel, where in the middle of the blade where I need a landmark, I know I can go up to that and still be fine. So I guess it's just the little details of things.
But that was something that you had to practice out of. It wasn't something that you never were supposed to focus on.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to want to focus on it, but it's once you get practicing doing it, you get more comfortable having a good flow on the grinder.
I gotcha. That's good insight. I can, because like just in general, I tend to obsess about things. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Like if you're trying to find the perfect angle for your bevels, I have a website that you can basically dial in the measurements and it'll give you the exact angle for what you're shooting for. And
or if you wanted it to be a chisel grind.
Yeah, you could do however you want. Like they give you options. There's websites where you can find anything. So chisel grinds, whatever. Like people are trying to get me to do chisel grinds, or at least one person is. I use a jig baptism, but I use calipers too to kind of measure everything I need. But then I set it up on the jig and then I dial in my angles. Jim says you're pitching fastballs.
Like I said, I knew I was going to be on here, and I was like, hey. I just come up with a few questions.
Nah, pick my brain, dude. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
And then whatever, I myself to remember them. So
yeah, I think at the end of the day, you're supposed to have fun with it. So as stressful as it sometimes can be, when you think you're messing up, and then okay, so here's something. Like when I first started grinding, if something was a little bit off or got a little high or got whatever, I learned that it's okay. You just keep going with the process and you'll end up grinding it all out. So you could make a mistake early on, but you're going to end up grinding it out. But the higher you get with your bevel, wherever you want that bevel to end, you start using higher grit belts, and that starts to, like, once you get, like, you go 60, or you can go really hard on 60 belts to 3/4 through, then you can go to 120, and then you start refining where you want your lines to be, etc. So it's a feel, definitely. So
that's good to know.
1931 Leatherworks, what's going on? Joseph S, hello. I'm just glad you have a brain. Thanks, Casey. That's all you had?
What questions?
Yeah. Oh, wait, he's bringing up the sheet. Yeah, man, I'm turning it over to you.
What knife have you made that is your favorite? Or, well, maybe that's not right. What knife is the most symbolic of you?
I think we all know the answer to that one, though.
Is it the Bloom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Bloom to me is the perfect EDC fixed blade for me in my life. I have a puncturing tip. I have a nice belly. It's a nice size. I can wear it on my belt. I can completely forget I'm carrying it, but it's there when I need it. If I need to break down a box, I can break down a box. I need to open a bag, I can open a bag. I've posted several times at my regular job. You know, most of the time I'm opening bags of salt, so it's like it's a perfect little get it done, quick bag, open a box. It's the perfect little utility blade for me. And I'm here. I could be here. I could be up here on the tip. So the Bloom represents kind of my ideal blade shape and that. So, but I love the rock copper. I love a lot of my designs for that. So
let's talk a little
Scotty
bit.
Hockey Hoffman, what's going on, man? I hope you're doing all right.
In this world,
Blade Walker. What's up, Blade Walker? Channel member. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's a lot of people that do suffer, or, well, I don't even, it's not a suffer. There's a lot of people who experience autism, and shoot, I forget who it was that commissioned those Autism Speaks Hanks, but it was a great idea. And then, you know, I got one out to you. Chris, his daughter has autism as well, and he bought one of those. It's important. It's important for people to know about, because people that are ignorant to it don't know how to treat people with autism.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing. You know, as an educator, I dealt with it a lot, you know, and once you know, then you know. But if it's undiagnosed and nobody knows, my daughter's a perfect example. She wasn't diagnosed with autism until she was in her 20s.
Okay.
And looking back on it, because it's not a severe, she's not severely on the spectrum,
right?
But it's all kind of caught up to her now, where we found out that, you know, she was masking a lot and having a lot of internal struggles until it just all kind of fell apart. So it's once you know, then you can make the changes and have a little bit more understanding of what that person needs, and is communicating and being patient. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't make sense in your brain, but in their brain, that's their world. So you kind of have to, it's a tightrope to walk sometimes. And there's good days and there's bad days. And I've had kids throwing basketballs at me and screaming at me and trying to run away and, being violent. And it's a real fun thing to try to deal with and scary thing to try to deal with.
And they're just reacting to people being selfish because people are selfish a lot of times.
Yes, it's a selfishness, or they want them to do a certain task, but
and it's not
they're
lining
just not ready to do that task.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to wait till they're ready to make that task, or communicate and give them another option. Or maybe you didn't deliver your instructions in a way that they can understand.
Yeah.
So you have to be tactful. You have to come at things at a different angle sometimes. You have to just, so there's all these different methods that you learn. And I've had all kinds of different trainings on that and done. So it's still tough. It doesn't make it easy. It's still, and there's good days and there's bad days. And dealing with kids.
I watched a TV show about an autistic kid, and what happened with him was he had left the house in the middle of the night and was having tics because he was trying to handle it himself or whatever. But he was trying to stay the night at a friend's house, realized he couldn't, and left. And he was walking down the street, and the cops arrested him thinking he was a tweaker. And it's no, you cops don't know how to handle somebody with autism. And that is just a very big, that's the whole world. The whole world doesn't know how to handle it.
No, they don't. And it's hard. And they're so smart. But
there's wrong with them.
No, there's nothing wrong. You just have to learn how to communicate. That's the biggest thing, is you have to learn how to communicate on their level and speak their language. Because if you're trying to speak to them in any other language, they will not understand. And unfortunately, in my lifetime, I have struggled dealing with kids at the elementary level who are being diagnosed. Doctors are playing with medicine, and the kids will come in lying on the ground crying for no reason, just bawling their eyes out, and then 10 minutes later laughing and giggling like nothing happened. So they're on that emotional roller coaster, and you're trying to navigate that and trying to do that, and it's very, very difficult to do.
A lot of times, some of those drugs that they will administer will cause basically a carnival to happen in their brains. There's nothing that can, they can no longer control it, and then they react to that. And
I have seen both ends of the spectrum on it, where
doctors aren't perfect either. Doctors they practice medicine.
Yeah, they don't know.
No,
they don't know. They're like, okay, we're gonna try this for a couple weeks and see if that works. And the kid's coming in like a zombie because he's completely zombed out on whatever meds they have him on, and then they take him off of that, put him on something else, and he's bouncing all over the place. And it's like, what's going on? And so anyway, I've had a kid. His name was Todd, and I will never forget that kid. But his laugh and his smile made it all worth it every day. And to this day, he's probably 6'2" and probably much bigger than me, because this was a long time ago. But God, that kid. And luckily, he found a good teacher and a good meds or whatever. And what's funny is his mom worked in the county that I worked with, and she was an assistant principal at that time. So at a different school. So it was a very interesting dynamic. But that kid was great. He was great.
Yeah,
he was great.
That's what it comes down to. You just everybody's got to find the people that can that can gel with them. That includes autistic people.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's tough. I'm not saying it's easy. I don't have the answers. I don't think anybody really has the answers. You just have to have the patience and understand what you're getting into. You have to but you have to know. If you don't know, it's very difficult to. And once you're like, oh, okay,
It's
I
like
got
if
it
you're
now.
at a chemical fire with the wrong fire extinguisher.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like I know my daughter will usually walk around if she goes out in public, which is rare now. She always has like a backpack, and on the backpack has little buttons and pins that say they're little, hey, I'm autistic. They're, they're little markers.
Like,
But
handle with care, please. Please don't hurt.
yeah, I'm a fragile little. I might be staring at you, but it's because something different. It's like
Right.
I'm not staring at you because of that. But uh, here's a fun one. I'm ADHD, autism, and my wife has bipolar. Yeah, so I am ADHD. My wife has OCD, autism, and anxiety disorders, and so does my daughter. So this household can get fun.
I think I figured out I'm undiagnosed CPTSD.
CP.
It's just
What?
PTSD that came from regular traumas.
Yeah, no, I've dealt with those type of people too.
Like, yeah, I'm a certain way, and it's because people have hurt me.
Yeah.
And I
So
apologize for that. But
no, you're all good. You're
that
all
I don't
good.
apologize for it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't need to apologize for it.
But if I can wrap my head around it enough to explain, then that's what I do.
Yeah. Hey, that's good. It's good to get the info out.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring it back. We talked about the Hanks. So you're doing the Hanks. That's always a constant.
Yeah.
A constant with you. You're always going to be doing a group of Hanks at some point in time. I like the thought of doing all the vintage fabrics or fabrics that have a story. The sale, is that going to be something you're doing for the public to buy? Or was that just for Byron?
Oh,
I'm
gonna do the Burgee flag for Byron, and Cole bought a Hank made out of it, and I'm not sure how well it's going to turn out. So right now they're not going to be available to the public, but if I can figure out a way, then I will. I've been thinking about this idea where I paint sigils on little squares and then paint the squares with glow in the dark, so that you can have like a little piece of pocket jank and just charge like $1 for them and then include them with different orders and stuff. But it's just another thing to throw in your pocket so that when you are feeling lost or trapped, you can get that out and it'll remind you that there's other people that are dealing with the same shit.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that. That's a great idea.
We'll all get through it and that feeling's pass.
That's awesome. All right, Adventure 50, thanks.
A lot of times I get caught up in that where I'm like, oh, I'm stuck and I just don't know how to handle it. And I set up my own reminders. I've got my crystals. I've got my bracelets. All my tattoos are reminders.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to have that kind of stuff. Like even if it's just like a little coin or a little worry stone or something that you could just have to just calm the nerves a little bit, right?
And even a knife with a story behind it is more meaningful.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So you have the Hanks. We have the wax coming out in smaller containers. And when will the next batch come out? Do you know?
I have like 24 cans left of the good deal ones. I mean,
Okay,
they're
so
all,
we need to
these are
so
just
we
in
need
house.
to sell this stuff. So right now, guys, you can get this $16 for a food grade wax for your knife to help protect it. That little piece of paracord is just there to help break it up a little bit. Yeah, it does smell good. And I've been using it on some of my cartas and some of the carbon steels just to help protect it. It gives it a nice thick coat, so that's good.
Yep.
And then you have the production blade from White Mountain that we're still or North Mountain that we're still waiting for. And then the fixed blade, you're going to make the first one. Your goal is by the end of September.
Yeah.
And then once you make your first one, is that going to be, you're just going to continue making that one, like as many as possible, or is it just going to be kind of every once in a while thing?
I think I'm gonna just start making those as something that I'm just will make when I don't have another project that I'm actively working on, because I've got other fixed blade designs that I also want to work on.
Yeah.
And then I've also got another production knife that Lute's working on right now in CAD, which
That's
is gonna
cool.
just a little mini super lock folder.
Oh, a folder. That's cool.
And it's called Iroh. I named it after a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wait, what is it again? Because I used to my daughter got me hooked on that. What was it again?
I named it Iroh.
Iroh? Who was
Iroh.
Iroh? Was that the older gentleman?
He was
Iroh?
Prince Iroh's uncle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The crazy powerful. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Powerful,
Yeah.
but keeps it inside.
Yeah. Until
power.
Until not.
Because he did really bad things with his power, and then he learned to temper it, and that is my story too.
Yeah, there he is. He's Mad Yocco. That's right, guys. Yeah, is that the one you showed Paul?
Yeah. Yep. I showed
Paul. There you go, Paul. You showed Paul. That's cool. Well, I look forward to seeing what comes of that. That is awesome. Guys, make sure you're checking out Double Wide EDC. Check it out. Him, 1931 Leatherwork stuff on there as well. And maybe I can talk him into coming on as well. He doesn't have to be on camera. You don't have to be on camera. You could just be tabletop if you want. That's fine. It's Cat Scratch. What's going on? Hello, welcome. But hey, Tyler, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having
me. We're going almost 2 hours. So it is really stinking cool. Guys, reminder, this upcoming week, Thursday, I am going to do my live stream at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time again, but I'm not doing live from the shop. We have a special guest. You guys may remember, those of you who have been longtime subscribers, you guys met Bryn. She just returned from Europe, and so she's going to come on the live stream with me on Thursday, and we're going to just chat all the things she did in Europe while she was there, digging up remains of. She actually did find burials and some of the remains of some people. I don't know exactly who, what, why, where, how, but it was cool. She went to Dracula's castle and was sending me pictures of all of his knives and stuff, which was cool. So she has been a world traveler. So we're going to chat with her. I think it'll be fun. It's just going to be a fun conversation. But yeah, thanks for that. So Tyler, again, thank you guys. Thanks for popping in, sharing your stuff, guys. Make sure you're checking out Mad Yocco here on YouTube, Double Wide EDC. Check out all of his wares. He's got some really cool stuff up and coming, some cool knives, some cool hanks, and some really cool stuff. So thank you guys so much for popping on. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. That choice is always yours. Later. See you. Thanks, Tyler.